If you're in search of a functional stubby front bumper to enhance the off-road capabilities of your 2021 or newer Bronco, excluding those Raptor models, this Barricade HD stubby winch mount front bumper with the LED fog lights will do just a trick. Now this front bumper will be sleek and to the point when it comes to styling, but will also offer a decent amount of capability, which will be great for the Bronco owner looking for a no-fuss design. Now not only will this give you the confidence boost while you're driving out on the trail, knowing that you have a reliable setup, but it will also offer an aggressive style upgrade to the front while allowing you the flexibility to customize it to your personal preference. Now my favorite thing about a stubby front bumper in general is the fact that not only is it going to give you a ton of clearance on the sides, but it's really going to make those oversized wheels and tires pop. So if you're looking for that wide look in a front bumper, this one is going to be up your alley. Now when it comes to the utility of this bumper, this will feature a winch plate capable of housing a winch with up to a 12,000-pound pulling capacity and 2 welded D-ring mounts right on the front to offer solid front end recovery. And this will also include a bull bar. As you can see, this is a bolt-on bull bar that you can put up top, so you don't necessarily have to run it if you don't want to, but it is going to provide good grille protection while including 3 elongated mounting points for accessory lighting, again, giving you the option to customize your setup and pick whatever lighting you choose. Now speaking of lighting on either side of this front bumper, this will have a cutout for the included 3-inch cube lights that are going to take place of those factory lights. Now those are going to do a significantly better job at lighting up the road in front of you thanks to the high-powered LEDs, and they're also just going to create a more modernized appearance to the front end lighting setup. Now this will be tough and able to take some abuse made of a steel plate construction with a solid 2-stage epoxy pre-coat and fine black powder coat finish on top that's going to protect the steel underneath from any rust and corrosion, but it's also going to do a fantastic job at really curating that heavy-duty appearance. Now the build itself will offer good, again, front end coverage while allowing a lot of room on the side for larger wheels and tires with better articulation, and again getting that wide appearance that stubby front bumper look just ultimately brings to the table. And the bumper will also accommodate for all of the factory features, including the front end sensors, adaptive cruise control, and a front plate mount to keep your creature comforts and keep this up to OE standards. Now not to forget about the lighting, those are going to be strong as well with an aluminum housing, a polycarbonate lens, a 5-watt efficiency Cree LEDs on the inside, and an IP67 water and dust proof build to resist any fogging or potential damage, which is especially useful if you're taking your Bronco out on the trail. Now this will come in at about $1,000 and for good reason. Now when looking at other bumpers and pairing this with others in the category, now this stands out that it's pretty simple, but it's also going to have some premium styling to it. It's going to have a lot of function that it brings to the table packed in a small bumper, and it's not going to sacrifice your factory features in order to achieve all of those benefits. Not to mention the aggressive and the wide appearance compared to other larger options will really add that wow factor to the front end, while being able to personalize this to your build when adding accessories, making this an overall fantastic option. Now this install is going to be completely bolt-on again, so it is going to be a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and all said and done, it should take you about 2 hours to get the job done with some pretty basic hand tools. Now at this point, we can head over to the shop and check out a detailed breakdown on how to get this onto your Bronco at home. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install, you will need an impact, various ratchets, small extension, T40 Torx bit, 5mm Allen socket, 10, 13, 15, 16, 17, and 18mm sockets, the provided Allen wrenches, 10 and 13mm wrenches, and a clip removal tool. Also not shown here, but will be helpful, is the jack and jack stands. What's up guys? Today we're going to be installing a new front bumper on our Bronco, so let's get started. So the modular bumper is pretty straightforward to pull off. You don't need to have it on a lift or a jack or anything, it's pretty easy. So to start things off, we're going to come over here to our driver's side. We're going to unplug our parking sensor harness. Now this is only if you have parking sensors. If not, you won't need to worry about that, but we do. So we're going to go ahead and reach right through here to this plug that is at the bottom of our grill here. I'm just going to go ahead and get both hands in there. And we'll push down on our release for our plug. And we'll pop that out. Now that's free and clear, and we'll get that caught up on anything. So next we can go ahead and remove these covers for our mounting bolts for our bumper. So we're gonna grab our clip removal tool and we're gonna pop out these plastic clips holding it in. Right out. Now you may need to take your clip removal tool and push in on the center of these clips just to release the inner latch there. Go ahead, pop all of these out. Once you have all those out, go ahead, pop this cover off. Set these aside. And we can go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. So once we have both of our covers off, we have our mounting bolts here exposed. So we're gonna grab our 15 mil socket on our impact and run these off. Now you may wanna grab a buddy for this because this bumper is a little bit heavy. Just be aware before you take all of your hardware off, you don't want things to fall and anyone to get hurt. So you definitely wanna have an extra set of hands or like a jack or something to help you hold this up. So we'll leave that one in just a little bit to help support, and we'll go ahead and take the other side off. And we'll go ahead and slowly remove these last two bolts. Make sure our bumper stays resting on the mounting brackets behind it. Then we can go ahead and remove them. So now that we have everything off, we'll go ahead and remove our bumper. So because of the taper of this bumper, you will be seeing your crash bars, so we're gonna go ahead and remove those now. So we're gonna grab our 15 mil socket on our ratchet and pop off our two bolts, pull this out, and then we'll do the same thing for the other side. Alrighty guys, so the next step is going to be to remove our lower skid plate. Now while this can easily be done on the ground, we've gone ahead and put the vehicle on the lift for this part just to easier show you guys what is going on in this process. Again, this is very easily done on the ground, just easier for us to show it to you on the lift. So to remove our skid plate, we're going to grab our 15 millimeter socket on our impact, and we're going to remove these front two bolts here. And the rear two, we're just going to loosen up as the skid plate slides into those bolts. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Go ahead and loosen these up. And we can go ahead and remove the front two. We want to keep a hand on our skid plate just to support it so nothing falls and injures anything. Once we have those two out, we can go ahead and remove our skid plate. So at this point, we're going to have to remove our parking sensor harness from our factory bumper so we can swap it over to the new one. So what we're going to do is come to the back of our bumper first, and we're going to get our tow hook plate off, and that is these four 13 millimeter bolts holding it on. So we'll grab our 13 millimeter socket on our impact, go ahead and run these off first. we have those off, we can kind of just lay our bumper over like so. Pull our tow hook plate out. And then you can go ahead and repeat that step for the other side. So next we can go ahead and remove our lower center plate. So we'll grab our T40 Torx bit and remove the screws at the bottom and the front of the bumper. We'll go ahead and pop these off. Now we have those two off, we can go ahead and flip our bumper over. Now we can access our 3 other screws. Once we have that off, we'll be able to go ahead and just pop that plate out. Next, for our inner side plates here, we're going to remove these 3 screws at the lower front section of the sides of our bumper. So again, T40 Torx bit. Go ahead and run these out. Go ahead, flip this over. And we can take these 3 screws out here. Once we have those out, we can go ahead and begin to remove this plate. Now you will have some retainer clips for your harness along the way for this, so we'll go ahead and pop those out. Just remember that your parking sensors are still plugged in, so you don't want to yank this out and damage any of your harness or your connectors for your parking sensors. So now we'll go ahead and grab our clip removal tool and pop out our retainers for our harness. And once we have those out, go ahead and remove this bracket. Now you should have 1 or 2 more of these retainers for your harness on the actual bumper itself. So again, with your clip removal tool, you go ahead and pop those out. And that is going to be the same for both sides. So once you have it done on this side, you can go ahead and do the same thing for the other side, and then we'll get our sensors out of the bumper. So now to get the sensors out of their retainer brackets, what you're going to do is come down here and grab the ear of your retainer. And you're going to push one side out and kind of pull up on your sensor. And then you're going to do the same thing for the other ear. And that should allow your sensor to come right out. Then we're going to repeat the same process for the other 3. Now we can go ahead and set our harness aside so we can install it into the new bumper when it's ready. So next up, we're going to go ahead and prep our frame horns for our mounting brackets that need to go on here. And the first thing we're going to do is remove the factory nut plates from the frame horns. So behind here, you will find 2 plastic retainer screws, or nuts rather, that you can just go ahead and remove. These come out by hand, you don't need any special tools or anything. And you'll feel one on the outside here. Just go ahead and remove that one. And they will look like this. And then there's one on the inner mount here. Go ahead and get that out. And once you have both of them out, go ahead and slide this back and work it off of your frame horn. And then you can go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. So now we can go ahead and add our frame support brackets. So we have an outer one and an inner one for each side. Now these will be stamped with a D for driver or P for passenger. And your outer bracket is going to be the tapered one, and the inner bracket is going to be the flat one with the hole in it. And we want our ears to be facing up. So we'll go ahead and slide our outer bracket into place. That's going to line right up with our factory mounting hole here. Then our inner bracket is going to slide up inside like so. And again, line up with our factory mounting holes. And now to get these bolted up to our frame horns, we're going to use our very long 16mm bolt along with a lock washer and flat washer on the head side. We'll go ahead and get this in our through hole. Into the other side. And to it we're going to add another flat washer as well as a 16mm hex nut. So now we're going to get this snug down hand tight for now, just enough to hold these brackets in place. And we can kind of adjust them how we need them. So now once you've got these on this side, you can go ahead and repeat the same step for the other side. So next we're going to remove the winch plate from our bumper as it comes bolted on, but this is just transport hardware and will be discarded once we remove it. So we're going to grab our 18mm socket on our impact and remove the 2 nuts on each bolt plate here, as well as the 18mm bolts on the front. So we'll come around and do that now. Again, all this hardware will get discarded, so we'll remove that bolt plate, we'll remove the other one, and then we'll get the 2 up front. So we have that hardware off. We can go ahead, set our winch plate aside for now. So now we're going to go ahead and get our parking sensor harness installed. And this already has the clips in place for the sensors themselves. So remember, this is, you want to have your connector on your driver's side. Go ahead and feed the driver's side through here. And we'll go ahead and get the passenger side fed through as well. Yeah. Actually, so now we have to prep our sensors themselves. So what we're going to do is remove these factory rubber seals. They should just pop right off like so. And we're going to grab our supplied foam seal. We'll pop the center out of that. Remove the adhesive backing. Then we're going to stick that right in place of our factory rubber ones, just like so. And then we're going to repeat that for all 4 sensors. Now we'll go ahead and install our sensors into their mounting spots. So just like the factory ones, they have these clip-in seats. I'm just going to pop in like so. Make sure they go all the way and get fully seated. Pull our harness through a little bit to give this some room to sit like this. And then we'll go ahead and do the same thing for the other 2. Next, we're going to add our foam spacers to our sensors. So go ahead and remove the adhesive backing here. Then we want the flat portion to be facing the connector side. I'm going to go ahead and stick those right on the top of our sensors. And then lastly, we can go ahead and install our retainer clips. So we'll go ahead and slide it onto those ears. Give them a firm push down in. Make sure they lock in nice and tight. And we'll do the same thing for the other three. Now, although this kit does not come with anything really to secure your harness up and out of the way, it'd be very simple to grab some stick-on zip tie mounts or something like that, or really whatever you would like to clean up your harness however you want it to make it your own. Just tuck everything out of the way, make sure nothing's going to get pinched when you go ahead to install the bumper. So next we're going to go ahead and prep and install our fog lights. So we're going to take our first fog light with our wire at the bottom. We're going to grab one of our provided Allen head screws and add a lock washer to that. Grab our provided Allen wrench here. Go ahead and set that on. Grab our bracket. We're going to slide that in place, and we're going to get our brackets lined up with our mounting holes here. Go ahead and slide that into the outer fins like so. And we're going to take our Allen screw, go ahead and get those in. And we can tighten those down. And it'll be one for each side of the bracket. We're not going to fully tighten these down just yet because we want some adjustment so we can set our fog lights how we want them. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing for the other one and get it ready to go in place. So now we're going to grab our 13mm bolt with a lock washer and flat washer. We're going to send that through the top of our mount here. So now we'll take our provided hex nut and get that in place on the bottom side of our bracket here. And your bracket does have two retainers to keep your nut from spinning once you get it in place. It is a little tricky to hold. And once you get it on like so, we go ahead and start placing our fog light in position. Reach through and grab our bolt, lift up on that to give our bracket some room. Bring it back. And go ahead and get our bolt started here. So we're going to leave that hand tight for now, and then we'll go ahead and do the same thing for the other side, and then we'll do our final fitment and adjustment of them a little bit later. So now we can go ahead and get our bull bar / top hoop installed. So we're going to go ahead and line this up with our two mounting holes on each side for it. And we're going to grab our 5mm Allen head screws, lock washers and flat washers. We'll get one in here and here. And then for the back side of those, we're going to grab our provided 13mm flange nuts. Now we'll go ahead and get our 13mm flange nuts on. There. inside. Then you can go ahead and get your other two installed, and then we'll tighten this down. So now we'll go ahead and grab our provided 5mm Allen wrench, as well as a 13mm socket on our ratchet, and go ahead and tighten these down. Now for the inner one, you may need an extension as well. Go ahead and put that on there. And we'll go ahead and get the other side tightened up. So now we can go ahead and get our mesh insert installed into our top hoop here, and we're going to start with our two L brackets here. So we're going to get our L bracket in place with the mounting point up top, and we're going to grab our provided 13mm bolt and flat washer. We'll get that through the top side. And for the bottom here, we're going to add another flat washer, followed by a lock washer, and then a 13mm hex nut. We're going to get these hand tight for now. We'll do the same thing for the other side. Now that we have those on, we can go ahead and get our mesh insert into place. So we're going to set this in place here, get it centered in our opening. Then we're going to bring our brackets to our insert, just like so. Then we're going to add another 13mm bolt and flat washer, followed by another flat washer and lock washer. And then lastly, another 13mm nut. And we'll do that for the other bracket as well. Now once we've made sure our insert is centered in the opening, we'll go ahead and grab a 13mm socket on our ratchet and a 13mm wrench. Go ahead and tighten our hardware down. Next, we're going to go ahead and install our cover plate for where if we did have active cruise control, our bracket and cruise control sensor would be mounted on the front of our bumper here. However, ours does not, so we're just going to install the plastic cover. So we're going to grab our 4mm Allen head combo bolts, get one through there, and grab our 10mm flange nuts. Go ahead and get that installed. We'll get all 4 of these in, and then we'll tighten it down. We'll go ahead and grab our 4mm Allen wrench and our 10mm socket on our ratchet. Go ahead and tighten these down. Now we're going to go ahead and get our winch plate back into place. Slide that in like so. And get it lined up with our bolt holes loosely for now. So now we're going to go ahead and install our double bolt plates, which are going to serve as our mounting bolts for our bumper. So that's going to go right through where the transport hardware came out. Go ahead and get those in place, and we're going to use these plastic retainer washers to hold them on. Sometimes you have to thread these on, sometimes you can just push them. And we'll do the same thing for this side. Now we can go ahead and get our 18mm bolts, lock washers, and flat washers into our side mounts here. Now we're going to leave these loose for now, because once we mount our bumper and tighten up our mounting brackets, this is going to shift a little bit, so we'll make sure it's where it needs to be. And we'll go ahead and put our bolts in our other side now. So now we can go ahead and install our outer mounting bolt plates. So we're going to slide this in here to our outer mounting hole. We're going to add another plastic retainer washer just to hold these in place. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. So now we're ready to get our bumper onto the truck. Now, if you are doing this at home, I would highly recommend grabbing an extra set of hands, as this bumper is pretty heavy. Or if you have a table, something like this, or even a floor jack, something to help you hold the bumper up while you're mounting it, that is strongly recommended. So we've got our bolts started into the holes, and we're going to go ahead and get everything kind of in position better, and then we can go ahead and start installing our hardware to mount our bumper. So now that we've got our hardware lined up, we can go ahead and begin installing our nuts and washers. So now we do have a couple of our mounting nuts started just to hold our bumper in place. And we're going to go ahead and get our outer ones in now. So we're going to grab a flat washer and lock washer first. Go ahead and get those onto our studs. Then we're going to grab our 18mm nut. Go ahead and get that on. Then we're going to go ahead and do that same thing for all of our mounting studs, and we'll get this tightened down and leveled up how we want it. So now we're going to begin tightening down our hardware just to kind of pull the bumper into place. And we'll go ahead and grab our 18mm socket on our ratchet and begin tightening these down. So now that we've got our bumper more secure, it's a little tighter into the truck, we can go ahead and get our final pieces of hardware on. So we'll go ahead and add our flat washer, lock washer, and 18mm hex nut to our inner bolt plates here. As you can see, we already have this one on. And we'll go ahead and tighten that down again with our 18mm socket on our ratchet. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. Make sure everything's tightened down and adjusted the way we want it to sit. So now we'll go ahead and plug our parking sensor harness back into place on the vehicle side here. And then once we get our fog light harness ran and everything hooked up, we'll go ahead and tuck all our wiring in and get it out of the way. So now we can go ahead and get our fog lights set down into position. Let's go ahead and make sure they're where we want them to be. We can just reach back in here. Go ahead and snug down that mounting bolt. And we'll go ahead and fully tighten that down with our 13mm socket on our ratchet. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing for our other fog light. So now we'll go ahead and get our tag bracket installed. That's going to go right on the front of our winch plate right here. we'll grab our provided Allen head bolts along with flat washers. Get those on. And then we'll go ahead and install our provided 17mm lock nuts. And we'll go ahead and get these tightened down. So now we'll go ahead and grab our provided Allen wrench and our 17mm socket on our impact. Go ahead and tighten these up. And we want to make sure our plate is centered. Back that up just a hair. Okay. So now we'll go ahead and tighten down our side mounting bolts for our winch blade here. So we'll grab our 18mm socket on our impact, run these in. And we'll do the same thing for the other two. And lastly, once we have everything adjusted, we can go ahead and tighten down our through bolts here on our frame horn. So we'll grab our 16mm socket on our ratchet and the 16mm socket on our impact and go ahead and tighten these down. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. So now it's time to go ahead and get our fog light harness all set up and in place. And we're gonna start by sending our switch through our firewall to the cab so we can access it and turn our lights on and off, which is a good thing. So the easiest spot to do this on these is right next to your brake booster. You have a harness grommet here at the firewall, and you can very easily just kind of push one side of it just to get enough gap to send your switch through. So that's what we're gonna do now. We got it pushed. Go ahead, persuade our switch through there. Easier said than done sometimes, but it will go. Slack, so we can go ahead and get that mounted when we're ready inside the cab. We're going to kind of tuck our harness out of the way. Now this part, you can feel free to tuck and clean your harness however you like. It's really up to you. You can zip tie it up out of the way, or if you got something better in mind, you can always do that. Kind of feel free to make it your own on that part. So, and we'll go ahead and grab our connector side of our harness. This is long wiring here. We're going to get our harness untangled first. Go ahead and get our passenger side fog light connector kind of set in place over on the passenger side. We're going to grab our driver's side one. Now both of these have ample length to be able to hook up whichever one you want to, passenger and driver's. So now we're going to get our fog light connectors dropped down to our fog lights, and we have our passenger side one kind of running over to that side first. And we've got our driver's side in our hand, and we're going to route that directly down next to our AC lines here. You can see a gap of light going down to the bottom of the vehicle. We're just going to send that down there. Make sure it's coming through. May take you a couple tries. It's a little bit tricky. After a minute, you should see it coming through below your grill. Go out and grab that side, pull that through. Then we'll do the same thing with our passenger side. So now we can go ahead and get our fog light connectors plugged in. Grab our harness and our plug here. Go ahead, fully seat those, make sure they snap into place real nice. You can go ahead and tuck those up out of the way. Now you can secure these however you'd like. Again, feel free to make it your own. You just don't want to have anything hanging or in the way. If anything's going to get caught, especially if you're off-roading, you're going to damage your harness pretty quick. So we'll do the same thing here for the driver's side. Snap that in. Get this tucked up out of the way. Now we'll lower it down. We'll hook the battery power up, and then we'll get our switch mounted in our cab. So before we go ahead and do that, we'll go ahead and get our skid plate mounted up. So we'll grab our plate and slide that back into our 2 rear bolts here. We'll go ahead and get our 2 front bolts reinstalled. Now we'll grab our 15 mil socket on our impact, get this tightened back down. So now we can go ahead and get our power and ground hooked up to our battery. So we'll grab our 10 mil socket and go ahead and run our 10 mil nut off of our connector here on our positive terminal first. Set that in place. Go ahead and reinstall our nut. Tighten that one down. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing for our negative terminal here. Go ahead and tighten that one down. And we'll cover up our positive terminals here. Now this harness is equipped with a relay, and it does come with a little screw-on mounting tab here that you can feel free to mount however you'd like and get it out of the way. For demonstration purposes, we're gonna just kind of tuck it back here just because it's not essential to any kind of function. And as far as all your excess wiring here, because there is a little bit of it, again, feel free to make it your own, tuck it, zip tie it, however you want to do it, wrap it in loom. Just kind of do your own thing and be creative with it. Just make sure you're out of the way of any spinning or really hot parts so you don't damage your harness in the process. So now we've come through into our cab here, and we've reached back and got our switch. That's going to be directly behind your hood latch release. You're going to feel the grommet. And just go ahead and pull that switch through, and it has an adhesive backing on it, so you can just stick it right on the bottom of your dash wherever you'd like. Ours is going to go right next to our parking brake. And your switch will illuminate red for off and green for on. And it's a simple push button, just like so.
So that's going to wrap it up for my review and the install of this Barricade HD stubby winch mount front bumper with the LED fog lights fitting all 2021 and newer Ford Broncos, excluding those Raptor models. And remember, for all things Bronco, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.